I've reached the point in my life where I no longer live paycheck to paycheck. I now live paycheck to 4 days before paycheck.
It's friendly PSA. 12 packs of soda are $12 now.
If the next 30 years are like the last 30 years, the average house will cost $1.6 million. Okay, so as we near the end of 2025, I thought we should take a look at the high cost of living everybody's dealing with right now. I would hope that I could go back to this video at the end of 2026 and see that the prices have gone down. But if what we've seen over the past few years is an indicator of what's to come, I think it's only going to get worse. We have a ton of stuff to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with some screenshots that I found and compare it to previous years. First one here. In 1978, a student earning minimum wage during the summer could afford to pay a full year's in-state tuition at a 4-year public university without going into debt. That is virtually unheard of in today's world, let alone the fact that people are getting these degrees and then going into an increasingly terrible job market, so all the debt that they're accumulating, they can't pay off at all. And here's another one. Working 40 hours per week won't cover a 2-bedroom in any U.S. state. In no state, metropolitan area, or county in the U.S. can a full-time worker earning the federal minimum wage or the state and local minimum wage can afford a modest 2-bedroom rental home anymore. The average minimum wage worker in the U.S. must work 116 hours per week, 2.9 full-time jobs, to be able to afford that 2-bedroom rental. According to the National Low Income Housing Coalition, a full-time worker needs to earn an hourly wage of $33.63 to afford the average 2-bedroom rental. They're not even talking about home ownership. We'll get to that a little bit later, but we could go over to more price comparisons.
Oh, how the times have changed. Basic grocery purchases by Kevin McAllister in the 1990 film Home Alone went from $19.83. Today, the same experiment ran a bill over $72 at one Chicago grocery store.
The leap from 2022 to today is wild, but let's look at purchasing power. In 1990, these groceries were $19 and the median household income was $40,000. Fast forward to 2022, the groceries basically doubled to $44 and the income doubled as well. That all makes sense. But in the past year, it went from $44 to $72, which is a 1.6 increase, but yet the income stayed exactly the same. If the income would be keeping up, the income should be $129,000 for the median household income.
And this isn't even updated for 2025. This is almost 3 years old. And how much worse it's gotten has been documented pretty heavily on this channel since I started making videos. And if nothing changes in the future, everything is going to get so wildly out of reach that it's basically a joke. If the next 30 years are like the last, by 2025, you will see prices like this. Okay. If the next 30 years are like the last 30 years, the average house will cost $1.6 million.
Yeah, no, that's painful and that hurts.
Yeah, we're on a sad decline. Okay, a new car, if the 30 years are like the last 30 years, will cost $218,165.
I can't afford that, Brian.
Which is the cost of like a very small house in New Jersey.
Oh my goodness.
Guess how much average rent will be in 2055?
Let's go $4.5 thousand.
It's going to cost $6,500 per month in 2055.
I'm trying to guess with you, you know?
How much do you think a cup of coffee will cost in 2055? $28 a cup.
No, that's can't be real.
It is 100% real.
Oh my goodness.
How much do you think a gallon of gasoline will cost in 2055? $16 a gallon.
Yeah, insane.
And then the opposite way, guess how much minimum wage will be in 2055 comparatively to all these prices?
Yeah, it's not going to be as high. $35.
No, $12.36 per hour.
Across the country.
How are you going to afford a $1.6 million house? So if you thought the earlier screenshots were bad that nobody could afford a 2-bedroom rental on minimum wage, you're basically not going to be able to afford anything if we keep on the same path for the next 30 years. Up next, we have a clip of somebody going through their monthly expenses and everything that they pay, because there are many people out there that don't truly know how much they spend day in, day out until they see their bank account hit zero.
I don't know what it is about seeing other people's monthly expenses and what they are spending their money on, but for some reason, to me, it is so satisfying to see. We are a family of 4, and these are our monthly expenses every month. In the past, I've been really bad about just flying by the seat of my pants, not really having a budget. I'm still working on our budget right now. So for the time being, I'm just writing our monthly expenses. This is what we're spending, and this is everything that is coming out of our checking account every month. In total, we are spending $6,000 and $6,015 every month. Now, this does not include our credit cards. So it does include loans like our mortgage and car loan, things like that. but we have about $130,000 in credit card debt, and this is not included in that. That payment is another $2,800.
Okay, so ignoring the 6 figures worth of credit card debt, I guess I should have used this clip for that series on the channel. They're still spending $6,000 a month for a family of 4. If you couldn't see the breakdown of some of the larger purchases, the mortgage $1,756, groceries are about $1,250 a month, gas is $350, a car loan that's $415, 2 different student loan payments that add up to a little bit over $400, and all of these things really do start adding up month after month, even if they are a bit cheaper. Internet being $65, kids phone $20, Netflix $19, dog groomer being $50, oil changes $30, life insurance $54, haircuts $25, eating out $130. In my opinion, things can definitely be cut down or cut out, but again, if we're ignoring the $130,000 worth of credit card debt, most of their expenses aren't crazy outliers. It's pretty common for me to see clips with people paying $25,000 or $3,000 a month for their mortgage. Their $400 car payment is double in a lot of cases. People love to have those Suburbans, but still, it really does show how expensive it is just to live. And we can move on to something that more people are thinking about. Of course, we're in the holiday season, and that turns into even more holiday spending.
Well, I thought I'd start some statistics today. Listen to these statistics. These will blow you away. 61% of Americans are dreading the holidays. Why? Because they're worried about that extra spending and that financial burden that so many of us feel this time of year. Listen to this one. 76% of Americans say they express emotional distress, the so-called money wounds, those things that continually come back every holiday season. Just creates this huge financial pressure. Hey, this is supposed to be the time of joy, but 76% of Americans say they live in emotional distress, especially this time of year.
So let alone the possible cost of traveling to go see your family, the Christmas presents becoming more and more expensive every year, even just decorating and buying Christmas trees have become laughably expensive.
You need to know if I'm completely crazy, but when did Christmas get so expensive? I just left Costco and I thought, oh, I'll pick up a Christmas tree here. You know, it'll probably be $100. The cheapest one they had was $450. $450. It was just a Christmas tree. Then the size that I would have liked for the house was $750. That is unreal. I thought maybe like 100, maybe 150, but when did Christmas get so freaking expensive?
The tree better set itself up with decorations for that much money. You gotta buy your fake tree when Christmas is over and it's on clearance. I personally ended up buying a Christmas tree this year. It was on sale for $75, so of course you do have to shop around, but there are a lot more clips online of these ridiculous prices all over the country.
I'm walking past this Christmas tree farm in Soho, and I wanted to share that I came here, I bought 2 Christmas trees, $1,200 for 2 Christmas trees.
Why would you buy it then? I know that they're real Christmas trees and you're in New York City, but that is such a wild price to then after purchase go and make a TikTok about it. Just seems absolutely ridiculous to me. But nonetheless, it does show how wildly expensive this time of year becomes.
This is 3 of my favorite graphs. So number 1, we have productivity versus wages. This is one of my favorites. Just look at it. It looks amazing. I love the way the lines go. Number 2, we have household income versus the price of a house. This one is another one of my favorites. I like the way the lines get bigger. And third, we have 2025. It's a new edition. This one is gold prices compared to USD. I really love this one a lot too.
So the 3 graphs that he looked at are nothing new if you watch a lot of the videos on this channel. People are not getting paid enough at their job and the wages are not keeping up with home prices, along with the constant devaluing of the US dollar. I don't know when this is all going to come to a head, but when it does, it's going to be very bad. But we'll keep on the subject with the household prices because it's become out of reach for so many people.
The median age of a first-time homebuyer is now 40 years old, according to Axios. Back in 1991, the first-time homebuyer's median age was 28 years old. More people are choosing to rent instead of buy because housing affordability has gone a little bit out of control in the past decade or so. According to Redfin, the typical homebuyer needs to earn $112,000 per year to afford the median-priced home, which is roughly $25,000 more than what the typical household actually makes. Here are the top 10 most expensive metro areas ranked by income needed to afford the median priced home. I was actually a little bit surprised by this because San Jose, California being more expensive than New York boggles my mind, but this can be explained by the fact that a median priced home in San Jose is around $1.68 million versus in New York, it's $810,000.
Okay, so I know the most expensive areas are just wildly out of touch for most people. San Jose, $413,000 to afford the median home price. Literally everybody's rich there then, I guess. But I'd like to go back to the other statement. The typical home buyer needs to earn $112,000 to be able to afford a median priced home. We could go over to a clip to see how many people actually make six figures every year.
What percentage of Americans are actually making six figures based upon their age? Well, a new study from the Labor Bureau Statistics just came out, and here's what they said. If you're 55 years old or older, then 16% of your peers are making six figures. If you're 45 to 54, then 20% of your peers, that's 1 in every 5 people, is making six figures. If you're 35 to 44, 25% of Americans your age are making six figures or above. Between the ages of 25 and 34, 18% of Americans are making above six figures. And if you're between the ages of 18 and 24, then 7% of Americans are making six figures.
So I know the stats we saw of the $112,000 a year is for the entire household, so combining finances would make it easier to hit that threshold, but the best statistics we saw for the age group to make six figures is 1 in 4 people. And you wonder why nobody could afford a home, especially comfortably. 8 to 24, only 7%, and 25 to 34, 18%, so less than 1 in 5 in total.
So I was just out on a walk right now, and check out these homes next to this path that I'm on. I was looking these homes up on Zillow, and you're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of $615, $625, $650 in some cases for these really tiny houses. I mean, they're not very big. You can see the properties they're sitting on are tiny, and yet people want $650,000 for these homes at what, 6.25% interest rates? Like, no wonder nobody can afford anything.
Okay, so first off, I thought the houses looked pretty big. It kind of seemed anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 square feet. I'm just ballparking, but the houses did look a bit bigger to me. The land that they were on is embarrassingly small for $650,000. You could literally reach out of your window and touch your neighbor's house. That's ridiculous. But with these prices, you better be making close to $200,000 per household, way higher than the average. And this is what you're gonna get for it. No land, new construction builds with the worst quality. All pushed together in the middle of nowhere. There are $2 to $3 million in California. Somebody's saying the houses are huge, the lots are small. I agree. It's BS, cookie cutter homes that should be under $400,000. Don't forget the monthly HOA fees as well. And we have a comment from one of you guys here. I moved back in with my parents after 10 years in my career. I was not willing to continue paying almost $2,000 for a single bedroom. This market is ridiculous. And this is a lot more common than you think, especially with the younger generations.
Gen Z can't afford to move out of their parents' house, and an economist says that that's bad news for everybody. According to economist Rohan Shah, rent has gone up 4% a year, while salaries have only grown 0.6%. But here's the thing, when millions of adults can't afford to move out, it quietly changes how our entire country works. When you stay home longer, you naturally meet fewer people. Less dating, less social mixing, less opportunities to form connections at a younger age. That delay ripples into marriage, starting a family, even things like who's contributing to Social Security. Right now, there are about 1.5 million more young people living with their parents than there were 10 years ago. And Shaw says that when there are fewer people working full-time and having kids, government programs that depend on payroll taxes get squeezed. And experts say that money is the biggest reason behind all of it. People are waiting to get married, have kids, or buy a home until they feel more financially secure, which for a lot of people just isn't happening yet.
So I personally don't have a problem with you moving back in with your parents just to save as much money as possible, even if you do have a full-time career. But there is a very good point to be made with all the other consequences. Not as much dating, starting a family, having children. We'll talk about that in a second. However, I have this clip here that I guess is supposed to be today's modern day starter home. This is what they want you to live in and they think is affordable.
You won't believe how spacious 460 square feet can feel. This modern tiny home has tall ceilings, an open layout, all main level living, and a design that makes every inch count. With no HOA, a backyard storage shed, and an electric vehicle charging available in the driveway. It gives you freedom and efficiency in one, and you're only minutes from both downtown St. Paul and Minneapolis.
Okay, so you could probably guess the reaction with the creator turning off the comments, but we'll go over to the description. Welcome to this brand new modern tiny home that proves just how spacious a luxurious 460 square feet can feel. It is almost $250,000, $239,000 for one bed, one bath, 460 square feet. All main level living, so it's just a ranch. I love the way that they try to spin things to make it better than it actually is. But yeah, I guess that's supposed to be today's starter home. I don't know how you'd be able to start a family, let alone all the other insane costs.
Daycare cost right now, Arlington, Virginia, is $146,000 over 5 years. 150 grand.
That's insane.
For 5 years. All right. What's the point of even working at that point?
And in today's world, many people don't have a choice other than to use daycare. They need both parents in the house working full-time just to be able to cover all the other bills. But in Arlington, Virginia, you're going to lose almost $150,000 per kid just for somebody to watch your child while you're doing your 9 to 5 that's not paying you enough. However, if you decide one parent should stay home and take care of the kids, it's extremely difficult to find a job that would be able to take care of an entire family on one single salary. It's basically a lose-lose situation. And another set of screenshots here is something that I don't think many people take into account. When they do end up deciding to have a pet, many people are substituting a dog for children now, but that doesn't mean it can't be wildly expensive as well. How much money we spent on our Bernese mountain dog for the first 10 months. Spoiler alert, it's insane. December, the adoption month, $1,000 for a clearance puppy. It was still $1,000. January, $900 for vet wellness plan and insurance. February, $400 for the first emergency trip for a foreign body. March, April, and May were all $100 each for pet insurance. And then June, $21,000, 7 emergency vet visits and 4 primary, x-rays, ultrasound, spinal tap, joint taps, MRI, and overnight stays. Oh man. July, $13,000, 2 more emergency visits. August, another $900 for prescriptions and visits. September, $600 for follow-ups, blood work, and more prescriptions. So yeah, I know that this is an extreme example, but you really never know what can happen in life, so it's just something you need to be very wary of as well. Here we could go over to a study, the cost to live comfortably in each state. Now they go through all 50, we could look at the top 10 here. Hawaii, a single adult is almost $125,000. A 4-person family is nearly $300. We got Massachusetts, California, New York, Washington, New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, Colorado, and Connecticut in the top 10. And we could go over to the cheapest 5 states. Kentucky, still income needed for a single adult, $83,000 to be comfortable, $192 for a family. West Virginia, 50th, the last place, is still $80,000 for a single adult and $195,000 for a 4-person family. So to be comfortable, you'd need both parents to be working full-time, making that 6-figure salary that we saw with the previous statistics, where 1 in 4 people at best. A majority of the country doesn't even make a $50,000 salary. I can't even live in West Virginia comfortably. The average salary these days are $35,000 to $45,000. Who's making $100,000 plus in Arizona? So I'm poor in all the states, okay. And it's not surprising when I start seeing a lot more comments like this. I've stopped buying any more clothes, stopped going out to eat at any restaurants, and even takeout. I get that there are some things you could cut down or cut out, but many people have gotten so frustrated that they're just giving up.
So my car insurance went up. Why? Who the knows? I'm already paying over $200. Just keep increasing. Bro, I just don't care. Like, I honestly just don't give a anymore. I've been planning to go to Texas as a little vacation, also to see my friend. And I haven't had the money to go, but I might just go. Like, I honestly just, like, I'm so worried about saving money. I'm so worried about the future, bro. I don't see a future, so I don't care. Like, I keep seeing more and more TikToks about people who are just giving up, bro. And I have never been the person to, like, give up. But at this point, I just don't care. I just don't.
So this seems to be a straightforward case of somebody starting to doom spend, not thinking that there's anything in their future, so they're just going to start swiping, going on trips, buying whatever they want. And on one hand, I do understand because it is very difficult out there, but the other side of that turns into a never-ending debt cycle, and to me that kind of stress is just not worth it at all. I stopped paying car insurance. My credit score is so bad. I owe so many debts that I'll never pay back. I just don't care. Well, hopefully you don't get into an accident with that person, because that's going to be a terrible headache in your life. I'm so tired of spending all of my money on just bills. I want to sell everything and live out of my car. Well, some people are currently doing that out of necessity, not by choice. And when we talk about savings and retirement for the future, the statistics don't look great.
53% of millennials have more debt than retirement savings. 46% of boomers are living on less than $100,000 in retirement. 1/3 of Americans expect to keep working past retirement age because they'll have to.
There's two spectrums here. There's the I'll never have enough to retire, and so I'm just not gonna invest. And then there's those who they're doing as much as they can, but they're crippled by the payments and lifestyle that they have created for themselves.
So while I do understand that the cost of almost everything has gotten wildly expensive, there are definitely some cases online where people are just living above their means. Maybe they see influencers or celebrities living this type of lifestyle, even if that's all fake for the internet as well, but they want to replicate it and they start swiping or purchasing wildly expensive vehicles going on those trips. I mean, we have a perfect example of somebody thinking that everybody needs to have a $900 car payment, and there are no other options.
I just read that the average car payment in America is $900 a month. The saddest part is a lot of people don't have a choice but to pay the $900 a month. And hear me out. If you don't have money for a down payment, you're screwed. If you don't have good credit, you're screwed. Your interest rate is going to be really high. But if you buy a cheap car and get a lower payment, you're at risk to not even have your car survive the entire time you have a loan. And then you have the option to lease a car, but you're still paying $300-400 a month, and you're literally essentially renting a car. You have to give it back. So all that money is going nowhere.
Okay, so while I agree with some of the things she says, of course, leasing is just renting a vehicle, and if you have bad credit or no down payment, the interest rate's going to be rough. But that doesn't mean the only option is a $900 car payment on a new vehicle, because apparently almost every used or older vehicle is about to explode. There are more options out there than a 10-15-year-old Nissan Sentra with 140,000 miles just waiting for that transmission to blow. You can get something cheaper and more reliable than a $900 car payment. It won't be flashy or cool, like this comment here. That's people living outside of their means. I got a 4-year-old car with a reasonable mileage for $21,000. I pay $350 a month for it. Now, I'm not saying you could just pull out $20,000 and pay for it really easily, but that's why I make so many different car videos on this channel as well. Many people don't have the financial knowledge, and they'll just walk into a dealership and pay 3-4 figures a month for a vehicle because they think it's going to be reliable, and their only other option is a used car that's going to just constantly break down. You could definitely find some cheaper options even in today's world.
Here's some anecdotal evidence. It's rough out here. I went to Walmart yesterday and was going through the self-checkout line, and I saw so many people getting like cards declined or whatever. Each of the stalls had a spot where like people had left stuff, because you know how sometimes you're ringing stuff up and you're like, oh well, that's a little bit much, let's take this off and put it back, or maybe I'll hold off on this. So there were some of those at each spot. And also I saw at least 2 people do that thing where your card gets declined and then you're like, I gotta move money from my savings into my checking account because it's food or a plunger. I can't really just do without it, so like I actually need this. And then you swipe the same card again. I saw that exact same thing happen twice, and I know it because I've done it myself. These were people with kids, dude.
And I think a comment from you guys goes very well with this. Not only are the prices increasing, but the quality of the product is worsening. And that is pretty apparent when we're talking about the food that we're purchasing.
This is the first time in human history we have been dunking chicken in chlorine, labeling it as organic, and people are buying it. 97% of chickens processed through USDA are bathed in it, and this includes certified organic. In industrial farming, such large volumes of chicken are processed all in the same bath, so if one chicken contains harmful bacteria like salmonella, that'll spread to the rest of them. Therefore, the USDA mandates another layer of sanitation, allowing up to 50 parts per million of chlorine. Chlorine wash is actually banned in the European Union, and US federal regulations do not require disclosure of sanitation ingredients on packaging.
So many people's answers to these types of problems that pop up almost non-stop on the news are comments like this: please support your local butchers. Well, many people would, but the prices are even more expensive than they already are at places like Walmart or Target. People are pinching pennies and tightening their wallets any way they could, so a lot of the time they just don't have the option. But that means you're apparently buying organic chicken dunked in chlorine. And basically every time I talk about food on this channel, there are a new round of recalls you have to watch out for.
There's a recall for eggs possibly contaminated with salmonella, and that recall has been expanding.
To the index of other news tonight, a major recall. More than 250,000 cases of shredded cheese products sold at major retailers, including Aldi, Target, and Walmart. Sold in 31 states and Puerto Rico under different brands. Great Lakes Cheese Company says that cheese may contain metal fragments.
There is a new, rather serious warning about the spices that are in your food as well as in your pantry. According to an analysis that was conducted by Consumer Reports, it found that many of the spices that very likely are in your cupboard right now contain high levels of dangerous heavy metals.
So I could really go on and on when we're talking about these types of clips, and it does add even more validation to the comment from you guys earlier. All the prices are going up while the quality's getting worse. And we got another one here comparing prices today to what it was back in 2009, even at places like Waffle House.
If anyone tells you that inflation isn't that bad, that the prices aren't that high, that like, oh, things are not as bad, bro, this is a Waffle House menu from 2009. An all-star meal was $5.99. $5.99. The $7.80 was crossed out because that was expensive. $7.80 was expensive. $5.99. That shit got you 2 eggs, 4 slices of toast, grits or hash brown, your choice of biscuit and gravy. I don't even think that they have biscuits and gravy anymore. You could add $1.25 for some coffee. It came with the sausages. Bro, what? Dude, they had a $1 menu?
Now I know that we are talking about Waffle House here. They're known for their very cheap prices, but a $1 menu alone is basically unheard of in today's world. Everything is just so much more. And because of all the topics that we went through in this video, there are so many people saying that they just want to leave the US. They're gonna go to another country, find a career, and live there. But this is not just a US problem. This is happening all over the world.
I want to get my degree and then I'm gone. Yeah, same. That's all.
Definitely be considering maybe moving somewhere else. It's too expensive to live here, to buy a house or to rent even.
The cost of living is just insane. Like the biggest thing on my mind would be like the cost of like actually being able to live where you like study, because I can't do that.
It's so hard to find accommodation these days. Like you're looking at like single bedrooms are going for nearly 800 like a month, like just a bedroom.
I was looking into it, considering it, and I was seeing like most places advertised it was like €250 a week. And you were literally just having like a little bedroom and you were sharing the kitchen with like 10 other people.
We could go over to the comment section. 800 euros a month is less than 950 USD. I pay over 1700 a month just for a bedroom in NYC. Well, many people's wages in other countries are not nearly as high as it is here. So the 800 euros or the 250 a week can still be a considerable amount of their income. People don't understand that everywhere is the same now. It's inflation. It's the same in every country. The reality in the 21st century. Same here in the States. We have a comment from one of you guys here. It's the same in Germany. The wages are stagnant since 2020, while the cost of living has went through the roof. I used to get a whole week's worth of meat, vegetables, fruit, cheese, and bread for 1 week for 50 euros. Now I spend 50 euros a week on fruits and vegetables only. We could just keep going with these types of experiences.
Honestly, living life in the UK right now, what kind of life is this? I know a lot of us are thinking about it, but what kind of life is this? You literally wake up. Before you even leave your house, some creditor, some company, some subscription, something is leaving your account. You don't even need to leave your house in order for the change to be collected. Before you even leave your house, there's a bailiff at the door, or an enforcement agent, or another parking ticket, or another council tax notice, or something like that in your letterbox. And that's before you go to work. Then you go to work your butt off, for pennies, essentially. We go out, everyone's expecting us to be happy, hunky-dory, and great. No wonder we don't smile in this country. No wonder we don't smile at people and greet people, because what is there to smile at? What is this quality of life like?
And another comment from you guys here. For those that don't know, in New Zealand, the average house price in the whole country is above $900,000. It's just out of reach for so many people now.
Americans want to move to Italy until they realize that in order to make $38,000 net income after taxes, they actually need to have an $88,000 salary. That's how high taxes are in Italy. The other day I made a viral video that said that 60% of Italians declare that they have an income while the other side do not, because taxes are so high that people just risk going to jail through tax evasion than pay taxes. That's how bad it is. That is the crazy part. The average Italian is actually a broke person. Our average income is $1,500 a month net income, okay? However, the cost of labor is higher than the cost of labor in America. Average income in America is around $55,000. And of that, you're gonna get 45K net. And of that, the company probably will have a cost of your work of $60,000, because the only extra expense they have is probably FICA taxes and maybe health insurance. So it's funny, Americans make way more money and the cost of the labor is very similar to what people actually make. While in Italy, we make way less money because the cost of labor is so high. For every $100 of extra salary you're giving to your person, it will cost you an extra $500 just in labor costs. Between taxes, contributions, and everything.
I lived in Italy for 4 years, and my Italian friends always complained about how much they worked and how little they were paid for all these taxes. Moving to Italy working with an American company making American salaries is probably the best way to go about it. Otherwise, it's very difficult. But how many of those jobs are really out there? Probably not too many. So maybe the grass isn't always greener, but it basically seems like most people are between a rock and a hard place. Like I said at the beginning of the video, hopefully at the end of 2026 we can look back and see that things have gotten better, but I don't know, it just does not look like we're heading in that direction. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.